It's me. The ReGroove mixer. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The ReGroove mixer in Propellerhead Reason 10. So, adding groove and swing is an essential part of making expressive, non-robotic sounding tracks. Swing not only gets things going on the dance floor, but it can take you back to a certain time as well. Almost like every era has its groove. So, let's get started with the basics. Real quick, if you haven't had a chance to give me a thumbs up or to help me get my subs up, now's your chance. Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll start by showing you the geography of the ReGroove mixer. You can open it by clicking here. Boom. There she is. Okay, it's broken into two sections. This section here, boop, 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 is the global section. Now the parameters here affect the track globally. And then this section over here, these are each channel parameters. Each one of these affects at the channel level. Okay? Global, channel. In the global section, you'll see that you have 4 different banks for each of these mixer channels. See, if you switch, it switches here. So you have a ton of options. You could have 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 times 8, 32 different groove settings. Yeah. Also here in the global parameters, there's an anchor point. Now, to describe this, remember this is the global setting. So this is your whole song. And if your whole song starts with an intro and the intro has some feel to it, maybe you're playing it in and you don't want it to be grooved, you don't want it to be quantized even, maybe, I don't know what you're doing, you can tell Reason, don't start grooving and don't start using the ReGroove mixer until you can set, let's say, so it's set now to bar 1. So at bar 1, it's grooving. But you could set it to bar 2. Let's say you have a 1-bar intro. 1-bar intro plays, boom, it starts grooving at bar 2. Super handy for those of you with the cool intros. Below the anchor point, we have the global shuffle amount. This amount controls how much shuffle is imparted on devices that have a shuffle button. So, looking at you, ReDrum, looking at you, RPG8, and there's one more. Looking at you, Matrix Sequence Player. So those 3 devices have a shuffle button. This is where you control how much shuffle will be imparted when you click that button. Also, I'm going to press F8. The tool window. I did a video on the tool window. I'll link that. But in the tool window, there's also some groove settings. I'm sorry. In the quantized settings of the tool window, there's a setting called shuffle. So if you quantize your MIDI to shuffle, what you are doing is quantizing it to this value. So it's going to line them up on the grid and then shuffle them this much. So quantize to shuffle. Handy if you already got some beats going in your ReDrum, or you are matrix pattern sequencing and there's some shuffle on it, and now your hi-hats aren't sitting right because you quantized them to the shuffle. Boom, now they're on the same groove. On the track parameter section, also that works in concert with the global shuffle knob, is this button, global shuffle. So you could tell any one of these channels to be what this is. Does that make sense? So, not sure why, but if you want to, you can. I guess I could see a reason why. Again, it's just an easier way to set multiple tracks to go with the global shuffle. Let's say you've already quantized a bunch of tracks and then all of a sudden you add something in that's going to have some shuffle. You could just quickly hit this global shuffle button and then take all the tracks and point them to the global shuffle. You see that? So that's adding the global shuffle on the track at the track level, if that makes sense. On each individual track, on each individual track in the ReGroove mixer, you can enable and disable that channel. You can edit that channel, and it'll pull up this window here. If I had that closed and I hit edit, it pulls up this window, and you can, in this window, you have more options. I'll get to this, but you have more options. On each track, on the track level, you can affect how much you want to impart that groove. And actually, this fader moves multiple faders here. So if you are using a patch that does have velocity impact, that does have timing impact, you're kind of moving them both when you move this. This is like the global parameter for these 4 parameters. So you can get granular with it if you want, or you can just, overall turn it down. Each track setting, or each track, ReGroove track, there you go, has a slide setting. So at 50%, it's not sliding at all. You can slide it backwards in time. So the drum hits a little ahead of the bar line or of the beat line. You can slide them back. This is the number one easiest way to just add a little swing to something like, let's say like, oh, I just reset that, by the way, by holding command and then clicking on it. Boom. That's global within reason. Take that one with you. Sliding around your hi-hats or sliding around every other hi-hat, that's the easiest way to add some of that lazy swing. Sliding bass notes just away from your kick is that's a mixing technique right there. Great for your punchy kick, not stepping all over your 808. Slide that 808 back just a hair. You could also do it with the notes if you wanted to, grab them, turn the snap off, slide them, or you could click the position. Oh, I got to give a shout out too on this one. You can click the position and you can use your mouse knob. That's a new one. Who told me that one? Hold on, I got to give you a shout out. I couldn't find it at the time of recording, but shout out to Jason Dreams, commenter Jason Dreams, for that tip. You can scroll with the mouse wheel to change the parameters. You get it. Another parameter on the channel settings is this pre-align button. Now, what this pre-align button does is, let's say you played something in and you haven't quantized it. You don't want to. Maybe you want to keep the notes where they are so you can see how you played them, but you still want to hear a version of them quantized and then swung. That's what this button does. So you're telling it, hey, take my off timing, pre-align it behind the scenes if you would, and then add whatever groove setting I have here. So if I have a groove patch going and I have MIDI that's off grid, this will on-grid it behind the scenes under the hood. It doesn't really change the MIDI. This will on-grid it and then use swing to off-grid it. So pre-align, that's what that button does. So that's all the buttons. Actually, then the last ones here are the global ones to browse your patches, and then your patch will show up in this window here. So yeah, that's the geography. That's ReGroove Mixer 101. Now, let's get to some use cases. Okay, so here I have just a little beat, and we can try a few things to show you how to get swangin'. Okay, so first thing to know, in order to add swing to MIDI, you can only add swing to MIDI, by the way. So this is audio. There's no parameter here. This is where you tell the channel, the track, what groove channel to use on the Groove Mixer. Channel A1, channel A1. Okay? Not going to put groove on the kick though. Oops. Okay. So let's say we wanted to take this bass line and just slide the notes back. See, some of the notes hit at the same time the kick does. So if I wanted to slide those back, select which groove channel, and then manipulate the slide. I'm going to go extreme so you can hear it. That's all non-destructive. It's not changing the MIDI. It's affecting it under the hood. Not really sure how to say that. But you probably won't be able to tell us too much on this one, but because it's a subtle effect. But if I were to move the bass notes back just a hair, just off the kick, both will sit better. Although, in that case, I would probably go into the MIDI, grab the specific ones that hit on the kick, and try just moving those a bit off. But just so you know how to slide things. Okay, so I have a loop here. It's a hi-hat loop, and it's super rigid. Right? It's like super on the grid. There's no life to it. So let's just add some simple shuffle. Oh yeah. So shuffle is an easy way to just get things swinging, but also there are other ways. So Reason ships with a bunch of ReGroove patches. Some of them are based on old gear. Can't do two things at once. Right here in the Factory Sounds ReGroove patches. MPC 60 is an old classic Roland MPC drum machine. So it's got all the swing settings from that. I usually reach for that. It's also got some cool drummer settings where somebody played in and then they got their feel. But yeah, you can. We'll try the 58% shuffle from the MPC. Not enough. 58's not enough. Let's go for 60. So that's how you add a patch. This is the number one way I do it. Add one of these MPC patches to some drums to taste. Grab the one that's swinging the right way and keep it moving, and then apply that to the other drums in my mix. So that's adding a patch. Another thing you might end up doing is playing in some hats yourself. And let's say you like the way you played them in. They're swinging the way you want. Another thing you can do is you can extract groove from clip. So if this had some groove on it, it doesn't. It's just straight on the grid. But if it did, I could get groove from that clip here. I'm going to name this clip just so it names the groove. Bass groove. Right? Then I'm going to get groove from clip. And then, I thought it was going to name it here, but I forgot it doesn't. It's just user groove. So then your hi-hat groove that you played in that you love can be applied to other drums. Your perks are playing with your drummer who's playing that sick hi-hat lick. So that's how you extract groove from a MIDI clip to be used as swing on other clips. The other thing you might end up needing to do is doing that the opposite way. How do you extract groove from MIDI? So this is the actual hi-hat loop that I turned into this. I actually took the groove out of it, but I used the same method in a way. So if I were to loop this. Let's see if I can actually, this will be fun. Let's see if I can take that swing. Here, I'll take this off. No channel. Right? No swing. And swing. Let's see if I can put it back in. Okay, so first thing you need to do is bounce this audio clips to MIDI. So what it's going to do is it's going to take all the transients and put like a MIDI hit there. So the MIDI will have the same timing and it factors in velocity, which is super clever. It'll have the same timing as the drums, and then you can use that. Get groove from clip. Boom. Now, let's see. If we go to the user groove and put it back in. Whoops. Yeah, that did it. Obviously, this one's a little louder, and you can kind of hear the chops here. But that's how you extract the groove from any loop that you put in. So you put in a loop, you love the way it's played, turn it into MIDI, extract that groove. Boom, to be used on your other stuff. Every once in a while, I'll have a track where I drop the hi-hats in, and it throws off the whole groove because they're swinging real nice, but my groove, turns out mine wasn't swinging real nice. So I would like to impart that groove on the rest of my track. That's how I do it. One thing I did want to show you is this shuffle button, just so you're familiar with it. This channel here is just playing the perks. You can see the sequence here. Here, I'll turn on the metronome. Now, if I hit shuffle, now it's shuffling. Now it's swinging. And if I turn this up, it gets more swingy. One other thing I wanted to show you is once you have your MIDI assigned to a groove channel, if you then want to commit that MIDI to that groove, that is, move those notes to where they are being placed virtually now, move them actually to those locations. That's a weird way to say that. Then you can hit commit to groove and it'll move the notes to where the groove is. So that's handy as well. One more quick look into the groove settings. Remember I showed you this slider here to control the amount of that groove applied on that channel. It's really moving a couple of things depending on which patch you're using or which groove you grabbed. You can use this to control the amount, or you can control things individually. So this groove that I captured has velocity input, has velocity data, so I could make it less, have less of a velocity impact or more, or I can change just the timing impact, or this does both together. So there you have it. That is the ReGroove mixer in all of its splendor and glory. We went over every knob, fader, and button. You're a guru now. Go get your groove on. If you haven't had a chance yet to give me a thumbs up or to help me boost my subs up, please do so right now. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys watching. These are fun to make, and you guys are great in the comment section. Yeah, keep making music.